This right here is one I've been looking forward to a while. Theo, Dorsey here on ESPN 106.3 for the local roundup presented by Lotto Writer Smith, Ivy, and Frauenrath. And we're joined by none other than Terry Bradden Jr., a local legend and also currently in his sixth season with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl-bound Kansas City Chiefs, as the assistant defensive line coach. How does that feel, man? I mean, you go off not only from, the high school levels to the pros, but then you go right into an organization like the Chiefs that just keep landing you in the final destination for the NFL.
Man, I just been blessed being here 7 years, and it just helped me a lot, man. Coming from Riviera Beach all the way to Kansas City, it's just a surreal moment. And I'm just blessed for the opportunity, and it's just an awesome time in my life. God has been good to me.
I shorted you a year. I didn't even realize it.
He's all good.
7 years there in Kansas City. And I think that it's funny because as many times as we talk to you here on ESPN 106.3, I don't think we grab the very depth of your story because it's such an intriguing one right from your start in football. If you don't mind, let's walk people through it. So you're a former Suncoast Charger, and then you went off to Inlet Grove, and you went to Inlet Grove High School as a sophomore?
Yeah, I was a junior, going into my junior year, sophomore, junior, and just to play quarterback, to be honest. And then I fell in love with Inlet Grove, and from Inlet Grove, I went to Howard University for 2 years, and then 2 years at Howard playing quarterback. I transferred to Tuskegee, finished my degree at Tuskegee University. Thought I wanted to be a U.S. Marshal. That didn't work out so well. I wasn't in love with it, and I was like, what can I do every morning and fall in love with helping people and young men? And it came to be coaching after I prayed about it. And from that standpoint, I pursued a coaching career, went to the ALCA convention, got big time. No coaches wanted to talk to me. I was a little guy. Nobody wanted to
Explain
talk
that
to me.
right quick, though. I've heard you talk about getting big time. Do you kind of remember who it was that approached
Oh
you and
yeah,
big
oh
time
yeah,
you?
oh yeah. What they say, keep receipts, but I don't think about it too much. I just always remember them back in my noggin, but I'm not the type of guy that just return a favor. I still remember them, but I still talk to them. But I always remember because I think it's very important to know what that feels like. And when you have a young GA or somebody that's trying to get in the profession, you don't do that to them. You try to help them. And big time mean like people don't want to talk to you. They're at a bigger school and you're not in the profession. And if if you're not a Florida State or Florida, they just don't talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm big on not doing that. If somebody email me or text me, I promise you I'll get back to you. Probably not that day, but as soon as possible.
I can attest to that as well, though, when I first met you and since in these communications the past few years.
Yeah, that's big to me. I'm real big on that. And then from graduating from Tuskegee University, I went to Florida Atlantic University to volunteer as a special team quality control. Halfway through the season, Dr. Banks called me to become was asking would I be interested in becoming the head coach of Inlet Grove, and I told her yes. And from that, God has been good to me. I was a head coach at 24 years old, was there for a year, and that's when I really knew that coaching was for me and the passion, the excitement that I have for these young men. And a coach that recruited me was now the head coach at Bethune-Cookman. He's not there no more, Terry Sims.
Mm-hmm.
I called Coach Sims to do a GA, graduate assistant. He interviewed me, hired me. I was there for a year. And halfway through the second semester, I had an opportunity to have an intern with the NFL experience with Troy Vincent, Kimberly Fields, and basically help out at the Pro Bowl. And one morning, it's all God, man. This whole story is all God. One morning, I had an opportunity to sit down and have breakfast with this gentleman. Come to find out, he played quarterback. I played quarterback. He went to HBCU. I went to HBCU, and we had a lot of things in common. And he was an older gentleman. He asked me, "What do you want to do with your life, and what you want to really accomplish out of coaching?" I said, "I just want to learn football as much as I can." And all along, I was talking to a Hall of Famer named Emmett Thomas, and Emmett Thomas introduced me to Ted Cruz, who's the VP of Communications, and Ted and Emmett introduced me to Coach Reid, and I've been here going on 7 years, and it's been a blessing.
Now, as I understand it, again, joined by Terry Bradden Jr. on the Lotto Writer Smith, Ivy, and Frauenrath local roundup on ESPN 106.3. As I understand it, you weren't actually supposed to get that internship or opportunity to go to the Pro Bowl.
That's true. A compliance GA backed out, and the AD at the time, Lynn Thompson, called Coach Sims, was like, "Hey, I need a GA. Who would you recommend?" And Coach Sims, man, you recommend me. I owe Coach Sims a lot. He's been a blessing to me, and he recommended me. I went to the Pro Bowl, and That's why everybody say you never know when your opportunity may come. And it was a true blessing. It was all God, man.
I got you. And I do want to spin it forward to some Super Bowl talk. I do want to touch on one more thing before we bounce off of the your path to the position you're in now, just
Yeah.
because I think it gets brushed over so much. Again, you were, back then when you were playing high school football, you were a little more heavyset than a quarterback would usually come, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was way bigger. I was a Dante Culpepper of the
Yeah.
Palm Beach County time.
Now, I was told by none other than a guy that's super close to you, DeAndre Morgan, who has his gym up in North Palm Beach, Dynamic Fitness. I was told by DeAndre Morgan to ask you specifically about a Suncoast football practice where you had to do some extra conditioning. And he says, again, I don't know how much credence I give to this story, but he says you don't get through that conditioning without him. What happened in that practice that Morgan helped you get through?
DeAndre is like a big brother to me, and he's my true best friend and close friend. Uh, DeAndre actually, if I'm thinking of the story you're talking about, he finished his sprints and ran with me. If that's the story I'm
Yeah,
talking about, if
yeah.
I remember, and he helped me finish through that practice, and he been basically a good friend to me and a guy through basically a person that I can lean on and always talk about like certain things in my career. A true friend. So I love DeAndre, man. He helped me grow through my career.
It seems like all throughout your life here, there's these points where it's either somebody, finding something or seeing something in you where they believe in you and want to help you, and or it's other people missing out on opportunities, you being ready and able for the spot and going off and taking those kind of things like the Pro Bowl. For you, I know that you say so much, it's kind of God's favor that he's poured over your life. What is it about your presence though, and what is it about your relationships you have with people that make
Mhm.
people kind of knock down walls to look out for you or work with you?
Man, before I was born, my brother was murdered 30, 40 feet from my house in Moral Heights. And my parents and my mom always instilled in my dad as well. My mom always instilled in me as always be respectful, give thanks to God, and always have respect for people. And, if you show respect, you get respect. And she always taught me that it's important to be ready when your opportunity presents itself. She always had me in the church. She did an awesome job with me, just showing me the right way to how to walk. And my dad taught me how to work. Your man get up and go to work every morning. So just my parents instilled in me just a certain elements of being from Revere Beach. And, people think the odds are against you, but, successful people come from Revere Beach. And I'm always going to preach that. So I think that basically is a shining light for me of how my mom and my dad basically brought me up through the church and brought me up. And nobody's perfect, but brought me up a certain way, going through Wells Recreation Department, which I think is one of the best departments for the youth to be a part of. Just everything in Revere Beach just instilled me to basically help me, and as a true going to John F. Kennedy, all these events in my life, going to the old Suncoast where Inlet Grove is now, all these
Mm-hmm.
events that happened in my life, it prepared me for this moment right now in my life.
Well, let's talk about this moment then. Let's spin it forward again. Terry Bradden Jr., assistant defensive line coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, looking to be the first team to repeat since the early 2000s of Tom Brady and that New England Patriots. That was people call it a dynasty. What you are doing right now with the Chiefs, we're talking about it being a budding dynasty in the NFL today. How excited are you, and what's this week like for you with your position currently on the staff, prepping for what Sunday's about to be?
Uh, you know, Coach Reid does an awesome job with his leadership of trying to keep us focused and keep a normal week, get most of our work done here while we in Kansas City. We leave tomorrow actually to go to Vegas.
Mm.
So this week has been very busy. Watching more film. You're only preparing for one team, trying to detail and hone in on certain keys and points, and just trying to get your work done while you're here in Kansas City. I think Coach Reid does an awesome job, and that's the only way I learned and raised up in this profession. And then when we get in Vegas, be different type of practices and different type of preparation, but the main focus is to win the Super Bowl.
To be able to do so, you're going to need that defensive line to disrupt some stuff against that 49ers offense. First and foremost, I mean, we got to talk about the glaring loss for you guys up front. Charles Omenihu, who was a huge addition to that front this year, was having a great playoffs, had the strip sack on Boynton Beach's very own Lamar Jackson. I mean, working around that loss, I know it's always next man up especially in a unit like the defensive line, but how big of a hole does number 90 leave?
Uh, Charles is a great player. I love him. He had a great addition for us. He missed some games, but you just got to focus what the guys we have in the room now and just prepare them, and because that's all we have right now to prepare them to get ready to play on Sunday.
For you specifically, how have you felt your role develop and evolve? I mean, like you said, this is year 7 for you with the Chiefs. This is what now, the fourth Super Bowl appearance or
Yes.
fourth Super Bowl appearance for you that you'll be kind of coaching? And what do you remember from those early days, the first one, versus now how much your role has likely grown, and what you're doing is very integral to the operations there that the Chiefs have on Sunday?
That's a great question. My first year in 2019, I was with the secondary, helping out Emmett Thomas, who helped me get this job. And the following year, I transitioned to the defensive line. And then the year that Coach Spags' era came, I went back to the secondary. And now the last 2 years, I've been with this, excuse me, the assistant defensive line coach here. And I think my role here has increased by basically doing pass rush drills with Chris Jones and George Karlaftis after practice, basically the whole defensive line after practice, just helping them in any avenues that they need help, if it's extra film, any tips, but just helping them with their technique and make sure they hone in their sound and fundamentals on the field.
Terry Bradden Jr., Kansas City Chiefs defensive line assistant, also Riviera Beach native, or as I'm told to call it, the Raw. I've been here long enough to learn the nicknames and whatnot. What do you, when you come back, and I know a big part of whenever you come back here to Palm Beach County, you're looking to give back. You're looking to try to create a platform for others, because so many, like the Abe Elams of the world, have reached down and pulled you up on that ladder. When you come back here in the off seasons, what's new for you? I know that you have your coaching clinic you usually bring. Is there anything new for you coming up? And also, what are you looking for in some of those future stars coming out of Palm Beach County, that lets you know, hey, this is somebody I want to continue to invest in so they can be doing the great things that I was able to go off and do?
Well, a great question, Theo. I plan to keep going with my coaching clinic, me and Abe in conjunction. And also, too, I'm thinking about and in talks with Ms. Banks having a defensive line camp there to be a charity event to back at Inlet Grove and have a defensive line clinic, my first one. And any other things that I can help with the city council or anything, speaking engagements at the local schools or summer camps time I come home. I'm just real big on giving back to my community because people gave back to me. And I believe it's very important that the kids back home see a different light instead of just running the football or shooting the basketball goal. You could do other avenues to be successful in life and make a profession out of it and doing something that you love.
That's what I think I love about your story is you were able to keep your career going in football, but this kind of happened for you because football didn't work out, right? Was it somewhere at Tuskegee that things went awry? Like, you were playing quarterback, and at what point in college did you realize, hey, this isn't going to necessarily work out for me in my playing days, but I can shift gears and do something from the sidelines?
Yeah, I finished my last year at Tuskegee and I had one more year of academics to just focus on. And I was like, man, I really need to focus on my academics, finish my degree. I didn't want to hold it off no longer. I wanted to get my social work degree, and things happen. And I thought I was done with football. I gave the game all I had. And also, I turned back to coaching it and doing it because I loved it, playing quarterback.
Is it kind of, did you ever see yourself on the defensive side of the ball? I know when people, well, first off, actually, Terry, how often do people just assume you played D-line or you played defense because of your size and stature? Like, do you have to convince people and show them the tape that you actually played quarterback?
Yeah, that's funny. I actually got to show a player today. I got to send him my high school tape. But I'm a little ready to go back to DeAndre Gym and lose some weight. But a lot of people think I'm a nose tackle, but I have to tell them I played quarterback. But it's just a blessing. People. I never thought in a million years that I'd be on defense, but I think it's good. My first coaching clinic, I presented on being the ball coach, and I think it's very important to always have the opportunity to coach any side of the ball if you get a chance to, even special teams.
Is there certain things you picked up? Like, who'd you lean on when you first even got the opportunity to change over from offense to defense? Were you comfortable doing that just because I know the quarterback has to know so much in general? I would think it's almost like a fish out of water experience, being a guy that's used to being on the offensive side of the ball and being a signal caller and then being asked to be an expert on what they're doing in the trenches.
No, it was definitely different, but I was just a fly on the wall. I listened to Emmett, everything he told me, Emmett Thomas, everything he told me, and I just picked up, and I'm a student of the game, and I just learned, and I kept going.
Got you. Again, Terry Bradden Jr. joining us on the local roundup presented by Ivy, Fronrath, Smith, and Ryder here on ESPN 106.3. It's not every day we get to talk to a guy that's getting prepped up for a Super Bowl, so I will let you go very shortly so you can enjoy some of your off time as well as get back to work on things. I do think it's important that the people here back home know just exactly what it's been like for you, but also what that start was like from back home. If you don't mind, can we go back to, because we kind of did brush over it. You talked about how before you were even born, your older brother was murdered. You said that, but I don't think a lot of people realize who your older brother actually was and what he meant to the game of football back then. Can you elaborate on just who
Yeah,
he was and what he had so promising for his future and how tragic it was that he was, murdered back in '87?
yeah. My brother was Donald Runner. It's Abram Elam brother as well on his father's side. I'm on the mother's side. Um, he had, from what my mom tell me the stories, he had almost 5 or 6 scholarships offers. He was the first one to do it in his class to start varsity with Coach Sutton. I think I'm saying his name right. Coach Al Sutton.
Yep,
Yeah,
Suncoast.
yeah. Yeah. Coach Al Sutton at Suncoast at the time, a legendary coach at Suncoast. And he was just very instrumental to the community. I believe he was going to be in the NFL, and a lot of people, if you talk his name around the community of older people or women and gentlemen, they believe he was going to be in the NFL. And I always promised my mama once I was of age and I learned the story that I would finish what he started. And really, I was talking about graduate from high school, go to college, get a college degree. And at that time, I was thinking I wanted to play in the NFL, but I didn't have the opportunity, so coaching in the NFL. So it's just been a blessing for me, man. That motivates me on a day-to-day basis to think about, my brother's life being taken away and, my mom losing a son. And she gained, God blessed her with another son. And I just want to finish what he started.
When you lean on experiences like that, to me, it's no wonder that you've been so successful so early on in your career here. But also when you lean on that kind of stuff, how much do you kind of try to carry that with you, knowing that you're playing almost for the spirit of your brother, as well as for the excitement of your mother, and then everybody else back home here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast, who, when they hear your name, if they've met you before or even if they've just heard stories of you, again, it just feels like everything around you is just surrounded in positivity and achievement. Like, how much of that do you carry with you from the Raw?
Being from Revere Beach is very important to me. Growing up in Moore Heights Park, going to Hilltop Baptist Church, my parents and my mom and dad instilled in me hard work and putting God first and working hard. Growing up at Wells Recreation, the youth center, the Boys and Girls Club on 13th Street, going to John F. Kennedy Middle School, R.J. Henley, Washington Elementary School. I went to basically every school in Revere Beach.
Yeah.
And all those life lessons instilled in me helped me to be where I'm at right now. It provided me hard lessons of grit, how to get up to go to work, when things work, playing football at Wells Recreation, which I think is one of the best recreation department in South Florida, because it instilled in you hard work. Life's not going to be fair. Life's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. But if you just put God first and keep working hard, I think you can achieve any goal that you set forward. And I think being from Revere Beach really taught me that.
That's it's telling in the way that you walk, and it also is telling in the way that people speak on you. Again, Terry Bradden Jr., defensive line assistant coach with the Kansas City Chiefs. Good luck in the Super Bowl next Sunday. We'll be pulling for you, me specifically as a Chiefs fan too. One last thing before I let you go, though. I'm curious because I heard about it in the interview. When you first met Andy Reid, back when you did the Pro Bowl internship, you said he has this running joke when he meets people that went to HBCUs. He says, "I played at Grambling."
It's
Why
not a running.
Grambling?
I don't know. It's not a running joke, but he did say Gremlin. I don't know, but
Yeah,
he do support HBCUs. 2 weeks ago, he had a Tuskegee University jacket on in the interview, so he's all for HBCUs, and he's been very supportive of me and my life and my family.
got it, got it. Well, big shout out to Andy Reid, and Tuskegee is the sister school of my Hampton Pirates. I won't shame you for picking Howard at first. You made the right decision in transferring. But
Booker T.
again,
Washington, baby.
Yeah. Shout out to the man, the creator, the originator. But yeah, dog, appreciate the time again. Terry Bradden Jr., assistant defensive line coach for the Chiefs, Riviera Beach native, and headed to his